would have already made itself all the way back down anyways, and you would just have to repeat the process, which would be the crazy part. But so at the end of that New York session, we ended up making this high here. Oh, matter of fact, let me just go back. Oh, I did explain how to get the other entries. So remember that entry, you could also did a break above this high, stop loss below the lows, because remember, if price is breaking lows, and then you could have been targeting here, and then remember, you don't have to close your trade if you're trading with the trend. So you could have held this trade as well, or you could have took it above this level as well. So you could have took a trade above here. And notice how I'm showing you all this on the 5. It's the same. It's the 5 minute. It's the same way with the higher time frame. Just remember, the higher time frame is the overall trend, is what you're trying to look for. So remember that. So if I was to take this off the 1 hour, let's just go to the 1 hour, then you would have been looking at price here. You could have took it also as well, whenever you take trades on a higher time frame as well, you want to make sure that you're you want to be looking for your setups before the trend actually starts. So in the sense of price making this high, and then on the higher time frame we make this low, if price is coming back above here, this is where you should be taking your entry. It's equivalent to the ones over here. It's the same one as the one on the smaller time frame as well. It's all the same thing, honestly. It doesn't matter what time frame you're on. Just remember, you have to get a good bias on a higher time frame of where price is going. You can't be on the 5 minute and just saying like, oh, I see it selling, so it's going to come all the way down there. Just because you see that doesn't mean anything. So you see that we sold off. If you're on a smaller time frame and you're like, oh, we're going to sell all the way back down because this one day and it's out of session, because you see this one session going down, don't put in your mind, oh, it's just going to sell all the way off. You have to look at where you're at on the higher time frame, and that would have been just a pullback for that session. So just keep that in mind. So where was I? Alright, so back up here, we're going to come back up here to where we was at before, and in session we had another day of price becoming bullish. So we have this resistance level here, price has this resistance, we even made some lows here. So as New York comes, it comes down and tested this as support. Notice how when New York comes, it didn't break the lows. So this would have never been a sell opportunity. Just because you've seen it selling off doesn't mean it was going to continue. So price didn't break any lows here. We also had a high here. So as New York came, ended up breaking that high. That could have been one confirmation, but then this could have been your main confirmation. Price breaking above this resistance, letting you know, okay, I can take a trade here with my stop loss. Let's say my stop loss around this level right here, which is like 50 points. So that's like, if you was doing a 0.01, that's like $50, or like, you know, however your lot size work, but it's not that big of a risk. And then you could have been targeting, let's just go to the higher time frame, because now we don't have anything, but still we can still target this high now. So now we can target that. So that is actually, because we're doing SPX, this is actually a lot of points. But I know for NAS this would have been like almost close to this been close to 500 points right here. But with this being SPX, 11 points is pretty huge for SPY itself. So 11 points up, and you would have been risking like 2 points. Yeah, you would have been risking 2. So not a lot to risk. So price broke above this high, giving you confirmations that price wants to continue higher. And we would have been aiming for the highs. As price gets here, it did make a high. So this is where you'd have been looking for price, you know, right here in this area. Okay, price came to this high, we have a new high. So I'm good with the trade that I'm in. I'm good with that trade. I can, you know, take some partials if I want, but I know the main target is here. So I can still hold that trade and see how far it comes. Now I remember this trade, if I remember, it did come all the way down to this level. So honestly, if I took this trade and I seen that price came to this level using it as a resistance, I probably would have took some partials here. Taking partials is one thing that you have to do a lot of, but I remember this trade coming back down. No, it didn't. Well, it did come a little bit higher, but you remember. Alright, so now we got a new high indicating that price is continuing higher, indicating that price is still bullish. In session, coming back up. And then I believe in the same session it did come down even lower. One of these sessions it did come down lower than it was. This is the out of session, in session. Yeah, it did come lower. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it came back and retested this zone. Came back and retested this zone here before continuing any higher. You would have been on a smaller time frame as well. This is out of session as well. So remember, we have to wait for our session. So I'm gonna fast forward. Alright, so in session, we're in session now. We're gonna mark that price has a high here and price has lows here, and then price also has lows here. So we're gonna keep this in mind for this session, and we're gonna see what happens today during this session. So now we wait for price to give us some indication. And notice how price is slowly coming up. So we're also, you can pay attention to this as well, but we're focused on the high points and the low points. And notice how price is breaking and closing above these highs, indicating that price can eventually continue any higher. So you could have took this trade here. What is this? This is 930. So this is 930. Price just opened up. Price is breaking highs. You could have put stop loss below these lows, or you can even do these lows. This one is 3 points, and then you could have been targeting this high up here. Well, you could have been targeting this high up here, or you could have been targeting this high up here. Any highs that you've seen, you could have been targeting these highs, or you could have been targeting the main area as well. So the one up here, could have been targeting here, and then you would have had stop loss below these lows, or you could have had it below the low that was made before session started. So you can do that one, do it that way, and then you would have been targeting that, waiting for your session to kick in. The volume is kicking in for the pair that we're trading is SPX, so New York session. This is where you're supposed to be trading, and as you can see, price ends up targeting this high, and then this is the end of the session here. It continues higher this session, and then before New York ends, it ends up coming back down to this, coming up to this area. And that's just the overall trend that we've seen from the beginning. And that's just breaking down all of SPX. We can do like a normal pair, but I'm gonna end it here.